Hey everyone, I'm Leanne. If you don't know me, welcome to my channel. If you do and you're back, thank you so much. You are my people and I love you. Today is a very experimental day. We are trying something today. I've done LeighAnnSays videos in the past and they've always been just like regular Q&As. Like you guys send me a question about me, about my life, and I answer it. But I'm switching it up. Today I'm going to be answering questions about you guys. So way back in the day when I used Tumblr all the time, I used to get anonymous questions from people asking for advice about relationships, life, anything and everything. And I loved answering these questions. Like it was like the highlight of my day. I didn't do it all the time, but like when I had free time and when I saw a really good one, I would get so into answering them. And I've always thought about bringing that onto my channel. I posted on Instagram and I gave y'all an email address to send your questions to send your stories to. I got so many interesting emails, so many crazy stories, so many interesting situations, and I picked so many that I want to answer. So I said it on Instagram, I'll say it again. Am I qualified to be doing this? No. Basically, you can just think of this as asking for advice from a friend and your friend not being afraid to tell you exactly what they think. Like if there's one thing I'm good at in life, it's having an opinion and saying exactly what I think. So that's what we're doing here. Obviously, my opinions, my advice, it's not the end all be all. It's just another person with advice. So don't get your feelings hurt. It's very, very likely at some point in this video, you will not agree with me. That's okay. We can still be friends. And I 100% encourage you, if you disagree with me about something, to let me know in the comments or share your thoughts, because probably the people that sent these questions to me will be reading the comments. And if you want to share your advice, you totally can. Like, have you ever seen the movie Straight Talk with Dolly Parton from the 90s? If you haven't, you absolutely need to make that happen. She accidentally falls into a position where she becomes a famous radio talk show host where she gives people advice about their lives. That's what I'm doing here, okay? So is it the same at all? No. But are we still doing it? Absolutely. We got a ton of really, really interesting questions. It was so hard to pick. If I don't answer your question, I am so sorry, but I am more than happy to do more videos like this. Let me know in the comments, give it a thumbs up, like just make it known if you like these videos, if you want to see more of them, because I'm more than happy to do more of them. I know I haven't even done it and I'm already trying to do another one. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell for notification, all of that jazz. Okay, I'm not gonna use anybody's names unless they specifically said that I can use their names. So I hope this doesn't get confusing. Grab a snack, pack a lunch, get comfy, we're doing this. It's weird for me to send this email. I work with domestic violence survivors and I feel like I generally have a good understanding of what a healthy relationship looks like. I'm so grateful that I have a kind and understanding partner. I feel like we're either on the same page or willing to get there. We have clear and open communication. We've grown so much as a couple and as individual people in the few years we've been together. The issue is I have a huge conflict in morality with his family. They said hurtful things about me and our relationship. I don't agree with their sporting the Confederate flag. Mind you, they live in, all caps, New Jersey, or the general victim blaming language they use when discussing my job. There's so much more, especially given that they're small town white Americans and I come from a family of immigrants. I'm also a survivor of trauma, and what they say hurts a lot. It's led to arguments in person, over the phone, on social media, and now I just don't want to talk to them. I can't compromise my morals for anyone. Of course you can. I'm going to try not to answer until the end. And they seem unwilling at this point to have a mature conversation about why I can't support those things they do. They take everything as a personal attack on their character. In short, I don't think it's fair for me to compromise and let things go when they're unwilling to listen. But I love my partner. He's trying to mediate, but there's only so much he could do. I'm worried about never having their approval of our relationship, and I don't want him to be ostracized by them for that. I support him seeing and talking to them. I just asked him to exclude me for the time being. I guess my question is, am I wrong for that? I hope you give me an answer. I don't usually feel stuck, but this is something I've been stuck on for a year. My partner loves and supports me, but he doesn't have a clue on what he can do to make this better. Okay, obviously, I don't need to tell you this at all, but these people are toxic. Just from the couple of things that you've said, it sounds like these people are not people that you need to be around. And just to very simply answer your question, you are not in the wrong. You do not need to be around these people. Ultimately, I have to say, obviously you are in control of your own life, but I don't think you're gonna have much luck taking them on as a group. They are a group, and for whatever reason, they're terrible. And I don't think that you can change this group. And so you have to focus on you and your partner, and he's the bridge between you two. The only reason these people are in your life, have ever been in your life, is because of him and because you guys love each other. So even though he doesn't know what to do and he doesn't know what to say to mediate the situation, it's kind of up to him to make it workable. I am hesitant to even think that it is workable though. And I don't want to break anybody up. I don't want to say that this is a hopeless situation, because I do believe that you can fix this and overcome it. I just want to say, think about your kids. You seem like you have such a good head on your shoulders and you see everything for what it is. But maybe you're looking at yourself and you're saying, am I being too high maintenance? Like, I can deal with this. I can get through this. I love my partner. I want to stay in this. I want to make it work. But maybe think about the future. And I'm totally assuming this, but do you want to have a family? Do you want to have kids? Those kids are going to have grandparents and aunts and uncles, and they're probably going to babysit them or something. You know, it's just going to be really hard to stay separate forever. It's totally not fair. You don't deserve for this to be happening. Obviously, you just fell in love with him. You did not fall in love with his family. But the unfortunate truth is they are forever tied unless he chooses to completely separate, which that's something that you can't really ask another person to do. I guess you can ask anybody to do anything, but that would have to be something that he would want to do and choose to do on his own, or ultimately it would end in resentment. It's a very difficult situation. I can understand why you're stuck, but I don't think you're in the wrong at all. I think you really just have to focus on the future. And I think you have to focus on working on this with your partner and kind of not feeling like it's all on your back to fix it, because you're not the problem. Whew! We already started with a big one. Moving on, we've got so many more to do. Husband and I have been together 8 years, married for 4, and have 2 kiddos. I recently started my own business, and he's an automotive tech for a dealership. In the past, I was in the military for a couple of years, then worked as a lineman. But for the past year or so, I've been a stay-at-home mom. We don't have a lot of money, and I made the decision to become a beauty consultant for a large company. Husband isn't supportive and would prefer I just stay a stay-at-home mom. All my previous experience job-wise is hard work, and I love the beauty industry. It's fun being at home with the kids, but it cut our finances in half essentially. With what I'm doing now, I can stay at home with the kids and still bring in money, but it causes marital issues. I'm at a loss. Any advice is welcome. Okay, so I don't want to assume too many things, but obviously with getting questions like this and not being able to have a conversation, it's inevitable that I make some assumptions because it's one-sided and it's only, so much information. First things first impression, just from reading your email, from the things you said, it kind of sounds like you're getting into an MLM, and that scares me. So that is an assumption. I could be wrong, but if it is an MLM, I feel like they're a dead-end road. I feel like they're a scam. I feel like you're going to ultimately lose money. Again, could be totally wrong. I'm sorry if I am. Reading this question, the other gut reaction, which I'm sure a lot of you guys also had, was, oh my gosh, he can't tell her not to have a job. Like, yes, she loves her kids. She wants to stay at home with her kids. She wants to provide for her family. She wants to do everything she can for everyone, including herself. And you want to support that. And you want to say like, no, he's wrong. He can't control her. He can't tell her not to have a job. And I feel that same way too. But I guess just looking at this, I just have to wonder why. Why is he against the idea of this outside job when it cuts your finances in half, which is hard for anyone? Whether you have 2 large incomes coming in or whether you have 2 smaller incomes coming in, cutting it in half is going to be a major lifestyle change. And it would be hard for any family, any couple, especially when there's kids involved. I would say try to sit down and look at it very objectively. Like, sit down with your husband and zoom out and say, all right, I understand that you don't like it, but I don't totally understand why. And I want to show you the benefits of me having this job and how I can help provide for this family and how it won't hurt us and it will only grow us. So if you look at your marriage as the most important business partnership you have in your life. I know that's not romantic, and obviously marriage is so much more than that, but I mean, it is kind of a business move. Like, you want to partner up with a smart person, you want to partner up with someone that is like equally motivated, and you want to build something really strong that's going to last you for life. It's not a far stretch to look at it like that, you know, and really like write it out. Like, have the math done and say, let's do a 3-month trial period. And then during that trial period, you gather notes and you almost kind of like make a report, and you show how much money you're making, the benefits that it's bringing the family, how many hours it's taking, you know, really put numbers to it and show that it's benefiting the family for you to have this outside job. After the 3 months, you can agree to have a sit down. Like, you can set the date the first day that you talk to him about it. Like, okay, we're gonna talk about this on like November 3rd or whatever. And we're gonna see, is this really worth it? You know, is this the right path for us? So basically, this is just a way for him to know, okay, we're gonna try this, but there's kind of like a light at the end of the tunnel. So if he thinks, oh my gosh, it's a waste of time, we're losing money, or whatever he believes is not a good thing about this job, you know, he thinks he's gonna get to see all those numbers that prove that. You, on the other hand, can be working for these 3 months to show him otherwise. So, I mean, obviously, it kind of feels weird to think like you're trying to prove something, but I do think if you kind of look at it as a business, like, you're putting in time, you're putting in work, you're getting money out, you know, you have to see your return on investment. And looking at it together objectively, I think could really help. And I think that would be a good way to negotiate the situation. I need to start breathing during these questions. So next one, this one's a little bit lighter. Okay, my big cue is, what is the best way to get out of a date rut, such as going to the movies every week and having a hard time to find things that are different to do with each other? And to add to that, what does it mean to feel bored with our dating life? Is it me, or is it my lack of imagination that's causing this? I just want to say, don't be hard on yourself. Like, yes, you're not coming up with new ideas, but I feel like that's easily fixable. Like, going to the movies is fun. If that's something that you both like, it's totally understandable that you would go back to that over and over again. And you could definitely keep that in your rotation of things you guys like to do together, but obviously you need to expand. You're bored. Everybody naturally gets bored when things become routine, and I think that's totally natural. Like, I get bored quick. I get it. So I think you just need to do a little extra work, and it's actually not that hard. So when I was in Houston, it was actually incredibly easy. There was a site called 365 Houston, and they always kept up with all the events going on around. I mean, not all of them, but a lot. So you could just say like, what's going on this weekend? And they would tell you like a ton of different events, art shows, concerts, farmers markets, food events, festivals, like you name it, it was on there. And I feel like a lot of different places have that. Like here in Dallas, I found an Instagram account that shows a bunch of the same kinds of stuff. And really, you just have to seek it out. And you also have to focus on what are things that we both like to do. So you've got movies. Do you both really like a certain kind of drink? Like, do you really both like beer? Like, are there beer festivals coming up, or is there a new bar opening up? Or something that I think is very relevant is look for events that are seasonal or things that are just like one time only, like a concert. So it's like, oh my gosh, there's like excitement building up. Like, you're very excited about this thing because it can't become a routine. You know, this is our only chance to go do this one experience, and it's just a lot more special. So I don't think it's anything you should beat yourself up about. Really, you just have to put like a little bit more effort in. But I mean, I feel like this is obvious, but it shouldn't just be on your back to come up with these new ideas, and it shouldn't just be on their back. You should share that and kind of surprise each other with ideas and events. You know, find one of those sites like I found in Houston and Dallas, and it actually makes it really, really easy. I could probably go on forever about this, but I'm gonna stop. All right, so this one is interesting. The subject line, I should be telling you the subject line of all of them, but this one is soap opera bullshit. So this is kind of a long story, but I'll try to make it short. I met this guy through my job. I moved recently and asked on Facebook for help to assemble my new IKEA furniture. He quickly answered that he was available and came by the same day. I thought this was an indication of some kind of interest in me since we weren't friends. We assembled the furniture and it went fine. I wanted to thank him, so I asked if he wanted to have a drink. He did, so we went out. Finally, he came back to my apartment, sat on the couch we built, and that's when he made a move to kiss me. I went along and we slept together. What? That doesn't sound like the most consensual situation. That's not what you're asking about. After that, he never tried to contact me. So after a week, I asked what's up. He said he was in a serious relationship. I was shocked since he never mentioned it in real life or on social media. After a little digging, I found out he was in a relationship with a man. What hurt me was that he said that even if he was single, he thought we didn't click and didn't want to know me better, which I find pretty rude considering the situation. Anyway, if I knew he was in a relationship, I would have told him to back up. So I most probably will run into him through work again. I want revenge, but I know I shouldn't do anything help. Oh no. So he's a coworker. I just want to say from the first second, from the get-go, it was a mistake. All of it was a mistake. I mean, you're not in the wrong to accept help putting furniture together. You're in a new city. You're just making a new friend that works with you. I mean, all these things are fine. That was not a mistake. But getting involved with a coworker like that was obviously a mistake. Like, I know people can meet at work and fall in love and make a great relationship, but I would say more often than not, that's risky because you're kind of stuck in that situation. If you break up, it's awkward. And it's drama you can't get away from, basically. So that's my belief there. On top of the fact that you didn't know him at all, which you went drinking, things happened, okay, but you didn't know him. So you can't really be upset that you didn't know that he was a jerk, because obviously he's a jerk. He cheated on his significant other. He has done wrong things. He essentially lied. Like, none of these things are good. You have every right to be mad that he was a scummy person and it wasn't what you thought it was going to be. But ultimately, revenge, no. I mean, going forward, I'd say just like be polite, but don't have him in your life. And you just have to like move on and like forget it ever happened, because clearly you don't want anything to do with him now. You know that he cheats, but at the same time, you don't want to take revenge on a coworker. Like, none of this is a good idea. Like, stop everything you're doing. It is so hard to pick these questions. Okay, the subject, it just says relationship advice, question mark, question mark. Hi there. So my question is a tricky one. My fiance and I have been together for nearly 10 years. We live together and have been engaged for 5 years now. I have yet to pull the trigger on getting married. We both want to be married and want kids, but here's the tricky part. For the majority of our relationship, I am blissfully happy, but I struggle because he's not a go-getter. He has jobs that are not full-time, and he's never held a job for more than a few months. Therefore, I postpone kids, house, marriage, you know, the big life things. You could say I'm the breadwinner. We have had talks and he agrees with me about his actions, about his work ethic. Nothing seems to change though, sadly. But I'm really happy and love him, so it's hard for me to just be like, bye, see you later. To see that one flaw and run, question mark. After all these years, can I add I hate change? So single life scares the crap out of me because my friend recently got married and then her husband got a girlfriend and now they no longer are together. She hates dating and men nowadays are terrible, LOL. No one wants to settle down. Dating and starting over looks like a nightmare. If you were me, what would you do? Especially if my choice is to stay with him. If you were in my shoes with someone for that long, what would you do? Thanks, girl. Love you and your YouTube and your style lately. Absolutely gorgeous inside out. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I know that you said that this was a tricky one, but to me, it looks so simple. And I know that's gonna sound crazy to you because you're in this, you've been in this for 10 years, you've given this 10 years of your life. I can only imagine, but I think the very beginning sums it all up. You've been together 10 years, you've been engaged 5 years. But you've held back all of these big life things because you have a problem with essentially who he is. You kind of brushed it off later in the email and said like, oh, it's just this one flaw. But I don't think it's as like no big deal to you as you're trying to make it seem. I think this is a really significant thing to you. Men have lots to offer. You know, a guy doesn't have to make a lot of money or have some kind of crazy, amazing career to be a great partner. I don't think that's a rule. Families can work in all different ways. Like you could go to work, he could stay home with the kids, and he could have a great work ethic when it comes to that kind of stuff. But everybody has to be okay with that system. And it doesn't seem like you are, because you've been hesitating on moving forward because you don't ultimately like his work ethic. You don't like his low motivation. You don't like that he doesn't match up with you in that way. And I can understand that. I feel like I would feel the exact same way. You have sat down and had mature conversations with him about how you feel and what you expect and what you hope for him. And you've tried to encourage him, and it hasn't gone anywhere. And I don't know what's going on in his life. I don't know what's going on in his head. I'm just coming from what you've said about how you feel. And it sounds like you don't like this. And if this is what's been going on for the last 10 years, I wouldn't put my money on this changing for the future. So you have to think, all right, if I decide I can deal with this, I love him so much, I am so afraid of being single and dating new people, which I'm just gonna tell you is not that bad and is actually pretty fun. And yes, people suck out there, and like, that's life, and I think that's how it's always been. But you just have to ask yourself, do you want this forever? Do you want this for your kids? I don't want to tell you to break up. I don't want to tell anybody to just break up unless it's like a terrifying situation. And I want to believe that everyone can make it work, but you can't assume he's going to change. You have to assume he's going to stay the same. You can't marry him for what you hope he could be someday, because you don't want to set yourself up for a miserable life and a divorce down the road. That got really serious. Okay, I gotta do this one. I gotta sprinkle in a happy one. Hey girl, first of all, I love you and I truly feel like you're my internet BFF. Been watching you since college days. Thank you so much. I'm so happy you're still here. And she even included a picture. I love that. There are a few pictures in these, a few pets, a few people. I love that. I love that. Okay, so I've been with my boyfriend for just about a year. We met on an app. I know you can relate, LOL. Yes, I can definitely relate. I'm 30 years old, so when we met, I told him right away that my end goal with dating was to get married and have kids. At about the 6-month mark, he asked me to move in together, and we did. He's also made multiple comments about his friends saying that we were the next couple to get pregnant/married. I would have never known his friend said that had he not told me. Question is, a guy wouldn't make these progressive moves or talk about these sort of things with his friends if he didn't actually want that, ... right? Like, I can imagine exactly how she's saying this. I'm way in my head, but it gets me so excited/anxious. I love him so much, and I've never been this grounded. I just don't want to indulge this excitement if I'm wrong. Sorry this was so long, but the details were important, I think. Love you. And then she said her name and she included a photo, and I absolutely love that. They are so cute. It was a picture of him and her. I absolutely love this one. This is like a glowy, happy butterflies section of the relationship, and I absolutely love this for you. I totally went through all of this with Grant. I mean, he didn't like make comments about getting married and all that stuff, but I was totally in my head about like every little comment he would make, or like, oh, he's about to say he loves me, or like, you know, just the anticipation feel of like, what's gonna happen? Where are we going? I feel like he's the one. Does he feel like I'm the one? And, you know, kind of like dancing around the conversations, but not fully having them because it's probably too soon, but you're so like swept up into it. I was so in my head about my relationship with Grant. You have no idea. But it was fun. Like, looking back on it, it was so fun. Yes, it's stressful because you don't know what's gonna happen, but my advice is live it up, love it, and just being in love and letting that grow. And I almost wonder if he's making these comments to like gauge your reaction. And I'm sure you're reacting wonderful because you seem totally in love with him. So go with it. You might just want to like know the answer right now. Like, are we gonna get married? Are we gonna have babies? Are we gonna have the best life ever? Like, I get it. But let it come as it comes. Listen to him when he says these things, because I don't feel like a good guy would just say those things for no reason. And congratulations. I'm happy for you. You are such a cute couple. I love the picture you sent me. And you are so pretty. I also have to say that as I open the email back up. Okay, one more, maybe two more. Okay, my girlfriend and I made a plan for me to move about 800 miles to her city, move in together, and we talked a lot about getting married somewhere down the line. She has some stuff going on legally that prohibits her in a lot of ways, but moving is not one of them. When I got here to her city almost 4 months ago, we went apartment hunting and found a place we both loved. We signed the lease and were set to move in mid-April. The day she was supposed to move in, she said the moving help she had arranged partially fell through, and even though I offered to step in, She said, let's just postpone it in a couple of weeks. Fast forward to now, end of June. She still has not moved in. Red flag. I'm sure you know this. She helps with rent and things, but is still at her parents' house and constantly talks about how badly she wants to move in here with me. I've asked her a few times if she's gotten cold feet or just changed her mind, and she insists she hasn't, and usually she gets upset when bringing it up. She also insists on telling her friends that she's moved in because she doesn't want them to speculate that something's wrong. Something is wrong. To me, that is her indirectly acknowledging that her not moving in is indicative of a problem. Exactly. You're right. You got it. I'm doubting her intentions, and I don't think she's ready to / maybe doesn't even want to move in. What are your thoughts, and how would you proceed in this situation? P.S. I've been watching you for years and years. You are definitely people, and I just adore you. Aw, that's so sweet. Thank you for watching. Okay, so you did the brave thing for love. You moved 800 miles. You took the leap of faith, and it is extremely concerning that she has not done the same thing, especially because she signed on a lease with you. Like, she let you move 800 miles and then didn't follow through with her side. And she gets upset when you bring it up, and she kind of just sneaks away from the issue. Like, there is something wrong here. She could have a great reason for not wanting to move in, but she's not being upfront and honest and open like you're supposed to be in a real relationship. You know, she's not holding up her end of the bargain. You've done a lot for love. You've done a lot for this relationship, and she's just not following through, and it's a mystery why, and it makes her look very suspicious. It makes it look like she's doing something very dishonest. Like, I just have to wonder, like, do you know her parents? Do you guys have a relationship? Like, do they know about your relationship? Do they not support the relationship and maybe she hasn't told you? I don't know. Like, I can only speculate myself. And the fact that she kind of gets upset whenever you bring it up, she's kind of controlling the situation. Like, she wants you to kind of be afraid of bringing it up, and that's very manipulative, and that concerns me. It's also very manipulative that she wants you to lie with her to your friends and say that you guys live together. Like, it just makes me wonder, how much is she lying? What else is she lying about? What's really going on? And I want to give her the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, she hasn't really given us much to work with. Like, I'm sure you're in love with her. I mean, you moved 800 miles. You are obviously in love with her, and I support that. But I think maybe you just have to bring it up again. And even if she gets upset, just say, hey, like, this is a moment where you have to kind of grow up and respect me and respect what I've done for our relationship, and we have to meet in the middle. And you have to try to control your emotions for a minute so we can really talk about this and get real and really lay it out on the table and see what's what. Because you can't just kind of be in limbo and think like, okay, like, does she want to live here? Does she not want to live here? She wants me to lie for her. She says she wants to be here, but she's not. You just have to know your worth in this situation, and you have to know that your partner needs to respect you. So you just have to have a really real conversation and not allow her to manipulate it, which will probably be really hard, unfortunately. Good luck. Okay, the clouds are rolling in. I feel like that's a sign. The light is going down. I need to end this video. I'm so sorry that it's so long, but really, these questions are so good. Thank you so much to everyone that sent in questions. This is gonna be the last one, and it's an audio one. Okay, so my dream was that people would send me audio messages, so it actually kind of be like a conversation. It would actually be like a call-in show. Like, I would love for that to be real. But she actually made an audio memo, and I'm gonna play it, and this will be my last one.
Leighann, I've been a fan of yours for years and years. And I am 48, been divorced for almost 3 years after a 20-year marriage with lots of betrayal and lies and deception, and learned very quickly that I was not able to trust the person I was with for 25 years, married to for 20. And I didn't date for a year and a half, and then when I did start dating, I've had 2 very brief relationships, 3 months, 4 months apiece, and get itchy feet and want to see what's on the other side of the fence and don't want to commit because it's just easier to be single. I'm independent, maybe detrimentally so.
I can relate.
it's just easier to just take care of myself. If I get lonely, I can have temporary company, but I don't allow them into my life for extended periods of time. And I feel like maybe I'm missing out on something. So, how do I rebuild the trust muscle? How do I lower those walls that I've built around my heart? Help me, Leanne.
Okay, so like actually hearing your voice in this situation, it just like takes all of it to a new level. I really appreciate you sending this question. So I can absolutely relate. Being really independent, not wanting to commit, yes, it is easier to just take care of yourself, but you're in a situation where you've been hurt, you've been betrayed, you basically gave your life to somebody, you had a partner that you were with for decades, and you got hurt. You have to give yourself some room. You have to give yourself some understanding because something happened to you. You can't expect yourself to just bounce right back and jump back into a long-term relationship or jump back into a marriage. I mean, that's just not reasonable. And I think maybe in that situation where you didn't choose any of that and you got hurt and you were the victim in that situation, you want to take control of something. And maybe here, the thing you're taking control of is you're blaming yourself. You're saying, well, why can't I just trust somebody new? Why can't I just stick with somebody? But maybe the right person just hasn't come along, and maybe they just haven't been worth it yet. That combined with the fact that you were hurt, this whole situation is understandable. And I feel like you're brave to even get back out there and be dating. And I think that that's all you can do. Sometimes relationships are supposed to end. Maybe you're just supposed to have that 3-month relationship, that 4-month relationship, and that's all it was supposed to be. That's totally okay. You probably learned more about what you like because you'd been in a relationship before that for a really long time. You kind of got to date around. You kind of got to have some fun. So have fun. Focus on you like you're already doing, because I think that's a good thing. You don't deserve to put pressure on yourself after what you've been through. That's just my opinion. There's still more questions in here that I really want to answer, but I have to stop. I feel like this is getting so long. The clouds have come in. It's getting dark. I really appreciate you guys watching. If you've watched this far, tell me in the comments. Let me know that you're still here because I appreciate you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this because I had so much fun doing it. I hope you had a good time watching. I'll let you know on Instagram if I'm gonna do it again, and I'll ask for more questions that you guys can email me. So you can find me on Instagram. It's LeighAnnSays. It's LeighAnnSays everywhere on all social media, and I love hearing from you guys. Hit the bell for notifications so you can keep up with all my new videos, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Years and years ago, why do I keep doing this? My lipstick is already getting so wonky. I'm so warm to fan myself with the palette. I'm like getting lost. Who is qualified? Maybe like a therapist. Okay, fine. I don't know. We're doing it anyway.